I'm going to talk a little bit about the syllabus and then come back to you. I want to know some things about you. And when the other
Okay.
students attend, when they attend, they can tell us about them. So we are meeting virtually. I think for many students, this is a relief. I think because it's late at night and it's the beginning of the week. I also think it's nice to meet as a group, however. So there will be 3 meetings at least, but maybe 5. And I'll give you the dates of the meetings well in advance so you'll know to come to the campus, okay? But the maximum we'll meet is 5 times as a group. I think we need to be in the classroom is that Jean or Han? Let's find out. So the location of the classroom, actually it's in the 6th floor of the graduate school. Maybe it's 60-30. I actually didn't write it down. I should check. Let me confirm. Do you know the location of the classroom? Yeah, 60-30, 60-30. So I'll put it in the syllabus and then post that up. Well, okay, I'll just tell you guys. I don't put it there. Let's put it into the chat. All right, so room 60-30 Plaza. So make sure you can see the chat. Sometimes I forget to tell you. It's actually plus. Oh, they write it like this, 60-30 in, so you know you're in the North Tower. RM for room. Didn't think about that. So this should be an N here. All right, and you can reach me by email, phone, if necessary. If I'm not responding and you have an urgent question or matter, you can text me. This course is for 3 credits. You can meet me personally by appointment. We can meet virtually. We can meet in my office. My office is on the 5th floor of the North Tower, okay? Okay, so this course is a research course. We're going to learn about research and we're going to perform an academic research project. You're going to pick your own topics. I will help with that. And I will also encourage you the process of research is not just about you writing a paper. It's also important for you to contribute to your community or in your area or your discipline to contribute as a reviewer or offering critique. So we're going to practice this as well. So I'm going to pair students up, students with similar topics or students with similar interests. I will put you in pairs so that you can act as like a colleague. You'll be an active colleague in the research process. During those presentations, you will present your paper, but you will also, when your partner has presented their paper, you will offer the critique, and the critique will be graded. I will give you a systematic approach to preparing a critique, and we'll talk about that as well. So you have to think about both sides. It's easy to be a critic. It's harder to write it yourself. So I'm going to give you the opportunity to do both, and I will grade you on both. So all of this will make more sense by the end of the course. Okay, so I put many books in here, okay? You don't have to get all of these books. Can you still see my camera? So the first one is Business Research Methods. Can you see that clear? Anyway, this is the first textbook, and it's a heavy book. It is a standard research book, but in the context of business, and that's specific, specific to your interest, your area. all the students in this course are international business, are interested in the international business, a doctorate. So this book is applicable. The other, like we did offer a finance program, and it's right now, I think we're still in moratorium. So some of you students might have been interested in finance, maybe, right? Some students interested in finance, but you had to choose to do international business degree. In this course, you can pursue either area or topic, all right? So this book, I'll show you here. I sent this to you already. So you see, for this book, I say that we're going to cover chapters 1, 4, 5, 7, 9, 14, 15, and 29. So the book is, I think, $60 on Amazon. If you're serious about pursuing, or if your intentions are to be in the doctoral program, you're a serious student and interested in academic research, you should have a business research textbook. Okay, so I am going to highly recommend you purchase this book.
Okay.
You can get an older version of the book. All right, some of the chapters are a little bit different, but if you want to save some money, you can get an older version of the book. So anyway, I recommend this book. The second book is highly recommended as well. However, it is I think it's a little more expensive. Let me verify that. But this is a standard econometrics book. It's excellent. And for the purpose of, you will take a course in econometrics. So I don't know the textbook they use in that book, but it's never bad to have a good econometrics textbook. It's not a bad thing. So let's see. I'm going to just check on Amazon. I don't want to guess. I used to know the price. All right, so it's $80 hardcover. I don't know why. Is that the actual book or the ebook? I think the ebook is okay. So it is $90 or $80 for the hardcover book, and and I see it's $50 to rent it. I leave the choice up to you, but it is a very good book, and we are going to reference the book. And then there's this book that's not very expensive. This is for R. So this course is intended to be an introduction, a review of econometrics methods. And the program of choice is R. What I'm going to be doing is using the Wooldridge textbook and going through some of the examples, and really, I don't expect you to perform the exercises. However, I give you all the resources to do it on your own, all right? My goal is to talk about the models, the justification for the models, and then the interpretation of the results. Not so much about actually doing an analysis on our own. It's all spelled out in the book. So again, we're falling back on the Wooldridge book, which is the resource for that, because the exercises or the examples come out of that textbook. So, so you could buy the R textbook if you like, but number 1 and 2 are highly recommended. I mean, I could say they're mandatory, but I mean, I can't force you. All right. The third one is for R programming, which is just a preference of many professors because they think that the students prefer a free software. R is a free statistical software, but I use Stata. Wooldridge uses Stata, and I won't expect you to buy Stata. Stata is over $1,000. Well, you can actually get it for $400 as a student. You can get it. Perpetual license means you can have it forever. understanding that software does have updates and you'd have to pay for those updates over time, but you could stay with the old version indefinitely if you like. So yeah, that's anyway, when we get there, we can talk about it some more, but R is free. So this is why many professors encourage it. I'm not a huge fan of R because I think that it creates a barrier for the students, that they worry about how to program things as opposed to just interpreting results. Because you're going to have an econometrics course later where you're going to do that kind of programming yourself. This is the course for learning about research and how to think through and prepare a research study and actually conduct it. The statistical analysis is supposed to be a tool, and I want to keep it a tool. I don't want to keep it a hindrance. So that's my take on it. You'll understand more when we get there. Do any of you program in R? Any of you program in R? I saw Richard was here, and there was also, oh, some more people are here. Yeah, Diel's here. Diane is here. Zeni, do you guys have your camera? Does everybody have their camera so we can see each other?
Voy a hacerlo y voy a entrar, es que no sé por qué no se me conecta.
Okay, está bien. That happened to me.
Okay.
You know, you probably have to log out and come back or something, because I had that problem last week. I had to disconnect everything and connect it, but anyway. All right, so this link here will bring you to all of the R. So in other words, the programming code in R to replicate the examples in Wooldridge that are presented with Stata. So anyway, like I said, when we get there, we'll deal with that. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. So this is the breakdown of the course. There's another book I reference here, but I can just send you the chapter. I can print this and send it to you. I mean, I can make a PDF of this for you, so you don't have to buy this. But these are the reference chapters of the books that I mentioned. The Heist book is just helping you with the programming code for R, which I'm not going to push. All right. So you can see we're going to spend a lot of time on research and how we conduct research in business. And this is to be clear, this is for scholarship. This is for academic research, which is very different than professional type research. You've probably all done research on the internet, right? You've probably all done some sort of research, some investigation, but this is done in a particular way, and that's what we're going to focus on. So then I have here just a few hours set aside for each of these chapters to look at the examples and understand the motivation behind the regression models and the interpretation of the models. All right, and that's what we're going to do there. Those are classic models that we need to talk about. All right, so I mentioned all the things you need here. I put a little note. What was my note? Okay, so yeah, this link will bring you to the free R software. And you should have a computer, your institutional email, Moodle. I can put things in Moodle, but I find it's easier by sending by email, but we'll see. So make sure you can access Moodle. All right. This is the breakdown. So there's 2 days, because we're such a large class, I count 10 students. We'll have 2 days for presentations, because I need first to ask you to present a proposal of your research in a month's time, like 6 weeks from now. And your partner will present the critique of your research. All right, so there's going to be 20 to 30 minute presentations plus 10 minutes for the critique. So it's not enough time to fit everyone in. And we're going to do this in person, so we can make this as realistic as possible. You're presenting to your peers, in other words. The final paper will be also on the last day of class. And again, you will have your presentation and then your critique of your partner's presentation. So these are what the grades here mean, or the weights. So 20 is for your presentation and 5% is for your presentation of your, sorry, the critique of the presentation of your partner. So that's 25%. I give you 10% of the final score weight because I imagine you'll be a better critic by December 4. And sorry. And so, yeah, that's going to be 10% and then still 20% for your presentation of your final paper. There are no tests in this class. These you can see as your oral exam. All right. These are like your oral exam. But otherwise, there's no written test. The paper, the final product, which you will refine before the deadline on December 18th. I've put December 18th. It'll only give me a few days to analyze it, but by then I should know your paper well, because you're going to work individually, you're going to communicate with your partner, but you're also going to communicate with me. So by this time, I should have already explained my critique of your paper and offered suggestions for improvement. So you'll submit it for 40%. And then there's 5% for participation, coming to class, having your camera on, and engaging with the other students as well. All right, so in terms of your presentation and your critique of your partner, you should be communicating with your partner. There shouldn't be any surprises, but you should be honest. If they have not been able, if your partner has not been able to improve upon any recommendations you made, they have to have a good reason. Otherwise, it's fair to make a critique, or make a statement that there's still some shortcomings in research. Research is never finished. Research can always be improved upon, but at some point we have to wrap it up. We only have a few weeks, 12 weeks. We have 12 weeks. We have more than that. We have 15 weeks, but let's say we have 12 to 15 weeks to work on this. And I'm asking you to have at the end, a paper that you could actually potentially send to a publisher or to a journal, an academic journal. We're going to talk about picking an appropriate journal. We're going to talk about how to prepare your document for submission. So we're going to have an opportunity to talk about all the phases of research production. Then there are the reglamentos, and I have a huge bibliography. So this bibliography, it's just recommendations. I spend a lot of time putting this together when I first taught this course 10 years ago. And I think I updated some of the recommended text. So the first group is a group of books that you could actually buy on research, right? So I have the Heist book here. So these are actually books that you can buy. And then here are a bunch of books that are actually in the library. These are do you know where the library is? In the Phi campus, in Osuna. So Osuna is the building inside the campus. I recommend you find it. There's also Bloomberg terminals there, if that interests anyone, and we can talk about that as well if that's interesting to students. They right now the first floor of Osuna Library is open. You can ask anybody, where's the Osuna Library? Just walk into the campus and ask for the Faculty of Business Administration, the Osuna building, and the library is there. And in that library, you should be able to find these books, or they might be in other faculties. No, here, they're all Administración de Empresas, you see. So these books are other classic research books that you're welcome to take out. So these are, okay, so there's five. There's five that I put in the list. And then there's a bunch of books here from, our campus can borrow them from other libraries. And I put, anyway, our staff in the business administration library can get these books for you. So they're very helpful. All right. So if you need anything, even, well, when we get there, I'll show you. But they are very resourceful. So get to know the librarians. Okay. Get to know la bibliotecarias. They're very helpful. So here are some research articles that are old, but that doesn't mean that they are irrelevant. It means they are seminal. These are foundational papers that are still referenced today. And I put them here. And we'll talk about some of these topics when we get into looking at different motivations for different models and research. These discuss them. So there's a lot. All right. So you don't have to get all of these, but it's a nice complete list. And I suggest you hang on to this syllabus with all these references for your future research projects. Some more, and these are online resources. So these links work and they will take you to the papers. And then I have a number of links here and data sources, financial data, Puerto Rico data. This is a journal list we will talk about. This is a link to doing human subjects research that we'll talk about. So we'll talk about these. I've put them all in one place for you. In terms of financial data or business data, you have two. We have two subscriptions at the university. One is with Wharton, Wharton School of Business in Pennsylvania. And so this database has information on financial statements of companies, and it also has price of trades. You could get prices here. And then there's the Bloomberg terminals that have access through Osuna, and the hours of operation you can find online, but they are on Monday through Thursday. I think 7:30 until 4:30. 7:30 a.m. till 4:30. And then on Friday, I think it's 8 till 4:30. And then on Saturday, I think it's the same. So you can verify that, the hours. I'm not going to put it here because sometimes they change and then I'm going to mislead you, but you can look it up. It's often goes by UPR, Biblioteca Administración de Empresas. So you can go by BAE UPR for information. My computer always finds it very easily because I'm there a lot. So this is a resource document for you with all these links, and it might serve you throughout your doctorate, and I hope it's helpful. Okay, any questions? Any questions? All right.
No questions.
No question, Francette says. Okay, well, I'm gonna go ahead, Francette.
No question. Everything is okay.
Everything's good? Okay.
No.
Okay, good. So I am going to ask each of you to tell me a little bit, whatever you want to share with the class, why you're doing the doctorate, anything that you want to share about your interest in research, because people in doing a doctorate either want to be teaching, or they want to do research, or they're interested in getting grants to do research. So I'm curious why you chose to be in a doctoral program. And I will tell you with my experience, you need to be good at both. And you need to be good at both research and teaching. All right. So you need to find the time to do both. As far as the PhD program is concerned, I did my best when I was more involved in the curriculum to ensure that the doctoral students had the opportunity to teach. It's very important, but I don't know that that you have access to that. So if you must, in the first couple of years of your PhD, just focus on research, because that's the other huge piece of your profession. All right. So let me hear about what your interests are and what kind of area or research questions you are interested in. Maybe I'll give you a few minutes to think it through. Okay, we'll take a few minutes, and whoever wants to start can go ahead. Well, I can give a few minutes. You guys can think about it. I'm sure you thought about it, but you have to think about what you want to say, right?
Hi, Professor. Can I ask you a question?
Can I ask you a question first? How do I pronounce your name?
Gian Carlos.
Gian Carlos. Okay. You want me to say Gian Carlos or Gian?
Gian is okay.
Okay. Now go ahead. Your question.
You were saying right now that in the first years we had to focus more on research.
Oh, I'm saying if you don't have the opportunity to teach, then just focus on research, but realize you're going to have to teach at some point. You'll keep your notes very well, keep them neat and tidy so you can maybe use them when you become a professor. But yeah, if you don't have the opportunity to teach, just focus on really being good at research, and then the opportunity to teach will come, and you won't be so torn, right? Because research is a whole different, I say it's very different than teaching, and you're expected to do both when you're a professor somehow, by some method, and nobody really teaches you that. You have to train yourself to be able to do both. So I'm saying just in the first few years, if you have no opportunity to be teaching, then just dive right in and be good at research. And so when you get around to teaching, you have free time because you will have already found your area of specialization, your area of interest, and you're not reinventing, or you're not inventing both. What the thing about teaching is, you need to spend the first years when you're teaching of building your course. And that is a huge investment. So I'm suggesting invest in, if you're not teaching, just invest your time in research so that you can save that time later in your career. I have lots of tips. I've been doing this for a long time. So anyway, so tell me, who wants to go first? Anybody's ready?
I can go first.
Okay, go ahead. Thanks.
So, my name is Gian Carlos. I work at the Puerto Rico University. I'm a budget analyst.
Oh,
I work with federal grants. So,
great.
so that was something that influenced my decision to go to a doctoral.
You see all the money that's out there on trees, hanging off of trees.
Yes, yes, but I want to teach in the future, so that was my first objective. And when I started working with federal grants, then the opportunity that every professor has working in doing research opens a lot of doors. So that was something that piqued my interest
Very
and
good.
and I wanted to pursue it. So that's why I'm here.
Have you had the opportunity to teach before?
No, I was trying with I graduated I did my master degree on Ana Jimenez, so I was trying to,
MBA?
yeah, in finance.
Okay.
So I was trying to at least one class or two, but I couldn't. So
But they want you to have a PhD. Is that it?
No, they were full at the moment.
Oh, okay, okay, all right. Okay, so that's good. No, that's great. So what kind of area, what interests you? Finance?
Well, yes, in business as a general, because my bachelor degree was more of a entrepreneurship, and my MBA was in finance, so I'm bit of both, I could say.
Okay, very good. Okay. Have you done research before? Did you do a thesis in the master's?
No, I was in it was my final test was to administer
A survey.
yes,
Mhm.
I needed to administer a business for 6 months.
Administer a business for 6 months. Oh,
Yes, it was a competition, and so to finish, instead of a test, they give us those small business that you had to administer for 6 months.
interesting. Okay, so you didn't do research, but you had to develop a business to
Yes,
administer. And
from the start, they developed. My business was about sensors, computer sensors. So I have to develop, do research on those sensors and develop them, and throw it into the market.
okay. Okay, very good, very good. Okay. Thank you, Gian. Did I say your name right
Yes.
again?
Yeah,
Gian?
yeah,
Oh gosh.
yeah.
I don't know why I'm hesitating. Oh wait, Gian. Thank you so much. And as I mentioned, I'm going to be trying to pair up students with common interest. And so just listen to the others and what they have to say and see if there's um, a good partner for you. Okay. Now
Okay.
we are not even, we're 9 people, but we'll figure it out. If we can't have partners if we're 9. I think somebody's missing. I think it was 10. It was 10. So Edith is not here. Okay, so there's one student that's not here. Idalia, Zeni, are you Idalia or Edith?
No, I'm Maria Colon. If I have to,
Maria, you tricked me.
yeah, my nickname is Sunny, but I need to fix it.
It's fine. I should have understood with the Cologne. It's fine.
Yeah, thank you.
So there's 2 students missing still. Anyway, let's continue. Who would like to go next?
Me, please.
Okay, Maria.
Hi, how you doing? My name is Maria Zenaida Colon. I'm from Trujillo Alto, and yes, I would like to teach. That's why I'm doing my doctorate, and I would like to also make some research. I need a lot of learning because I want to do my thesis now to finish my my studies, and I would like to learn about the women development on the business industry, and I'm working on it. So I I have a condition that's named alopecia. It's not cancer, and I would like to do some research about it. So that's why I started my doctorate, because I would like to help to doing some research about it.
Okay, okay. Tell me something. You said women development. Do you
Yeah,
mean professional development, or what do you mean in development? Professional?
and business development. Yeah, I mean like self-empowerment, self I know that many women are doing some new business creations, and I would like to learn what are the
Okay.
strongest points. I would like to know about it.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. And so you and so your background, you said you did a business degree? You have a master's in business?
I have a master degree on business administration, but my bachelor is on communication,
Oh, good.
relating to communication.
And have you done research before?
I've done some research for some classes, but not as professional research.
Okay, Okay. This is academic research, let's say, because it
Exactly.
because
Yeah,
when you say professional, it sounds more like trade, like more what am I trying to think? Anyway, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Not research in terms of consulting, but this is academic research.
Exactly. Yeah. I have done some for some other classes.
Okay, great. And you studied where?
Of UPR. Yeah.
Ah, UPR.
Yeah.
Rio Piedras.
Yes. And my bachelor's was at Arecibo.
Oh, okay. But you were in my class? No, you took statistics with somebody else.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So it's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Professor.
Okay, good. All right, so who wants to go next?
Okay, I'll do it. So my name is Angel Gonzalez. I have a BBA with majors in accounting and finance from the University of Puerto Rico, Rio Piedras campus a long time ago. I have an MBA from the University of Phoenix, and I am a certified public accountant and a certified fraud examiner. And I've been teaching at the college level since 2007. So I have a lot of teaching experience. The reason why I decided to make my PhD is because I am planning on retiring maybe in 5 years.
Mhm.
I am not going to sit at home watching Netflix when I retire. So I want to be a full-time professor and researcher.
Great.
So that's what I decided to
So you're
pursue
excellent.
my PhD.
Okay. Are there any particular research questions you have in mind? Things you want to explore?
Well, not yet, honestly. I haven't done any research before, so this is a new field for me.
But do you have questions? I mean, as a fraud examiner, things must come in your mind all the time.
The what? I'm sorry?
Questions must arise in your mind all the time about trends in fraud or
Oh, no. Yeah, actually, and I do a lot of, I have to take a lot of continuing education, so I have to read and keep updated with a lot of subjects. Yes.
So well, it depends if you want to research something completely different, but if you had to pick a question, you must have many questions. Worth researching, okay, very good. Okay, and very admirable of you. Yes, I don't want to end up watching Netflix. Sometimes I'm so tired, I just want to watch Netflix, but I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Okay, who's next? Who's next?
Oh, hi. My
Hi.
name is Yadi.
Hi, Yaniel.
Hola, papá. En clase, perdona que no te puedo ver. ¿Cómo te fue hoy?
Oh, Yaniel, we can't hear you. Here, wait. Okay, can you speak now?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Can you guys listen? No.
Yeah, I can hear you. To start
So
over.
I currently work at the UP. I specifically in the School of Business. So if you guys need something from there, I will be more than glad to help.
You know,
So
but you're there in the day, always in the
all day.
So
Yeah.
there you go. Anybody who wants to go to the campus, yeah, the L is over there. In the morning and the afternoon, you are in 100, right? Osuna?
Yeah. In
Osuna?
100.
Yeah, 100. And you can ask him for directions. Okay.
Directions, process, anything you need. So my main focus in getting my PhD is that I would love to be a professor when I end up, because I really love teaching since I was in high school. I have always developed this feeling for teaching, but also I really like, there was something that I discovered in my bachelor degree that I would kind of like to do research. I did it, well, like our friend, in some courses, I did some research and I focused them in how people with disabilities work in this business environment. And that was one of the topics that I would like to explore. And also I would like to explore, my bachelor degree was in marketing, and I would like to do, I don't know, some topics that been in my mind is how multicultural environments work in international business and all those things. So basically that's it.
Okay. So where did you did your master's?
No,
Oh,
I
okay.
didn't.
See, so you're kind of, that's interesting. So it's kind of like Ariadna. See, Ariadna, you're not on your own. Yeah,
So
but
I kind of,
enthusiasm.
I jumped
You
because
jump.
I had the requirements of the PhD. I had them when I did my marketing degree.
So when you said that you were teaching, what courses or what were you teaching and what topics were you helping with?
Well, I didn't teach like I was the teacher, but
Yeah, but a
I
tutor.
helped. Yeah, like a tutor. I help in math. I don't know if you guys know the program PECA here in the UP. It's for adults that want to go to college. They didn't have any degree, and they give them the opportunity to have a degree. So I
Yeah.
help them with math, and I think it's Spanish too. And also in my high school, when I left for college, I went back for doing some conference about business and associations and this university life that nobody sometimes tell us when we are in high school. So I went for those conferences.
Oh, wonderful. So how many years have you been post-bachelor?
I like two.
Okay, okay. So you, but it's very,
2020, I think.
it's very interesting, and I'm excited to have you and your enthusiasm
Thank you.
for learning so much at in depth at a young age. That's great. That's great. Okay, so let's see. So who's out? Who else? Richard.
Hello,
Hello.
my name is Taylor Castells.
Taylor,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. My name is Taylor Castells. I'm from Haiti. I work on an accounting field, and I was also a social group trainer at Garu organization, and I work as an assistant teacher. Yeah, my background is on economic science and accounting, but I also have a master, an MBA, masters in business administration. And yeah, about teaching, I think I love teaching. I love teaching because Nelson Mandela said education is the most powerful weapon for changing the world. So I love teaching, I love study, and I love making, making research. I want to pass on knowledge because I want to participate in the advancement of science. I also want to find a method to find the devastating trait of the system economics of Haiti, my country, in order to propose the development of my country and make recommendation.
Very admirable, Taylor. I should tell everyone, Taylor was my teaching assistant. I've been teaching courses in Haiti, and he is my beloved teaching assistant, where the students can barely understand my English. He is he's not just a facilitator, he's the teacher. He's the teacher. He's the interpreter. So I'm really happy he decided to continue studying and that he's with us today. And also Francette is here with us. She's also here from Haiti.
Yes, yes, yes.
Francette, let me ask Taylor before we continue up. Do you think you want to do a project in this class with Haiti, or Taylor?
Hello, I lost connection.
I can see you.
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you. I think he has both.
Do you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear us?
Okay. I try to work about or to use international trade to find economic growth to finance development in the Caribbean region.
Okay, so you think you want to do something with international trade?
Yeah,
Okay, and Haiti? Or
yeah,
just,
in Haiti or the Caribbean region.
yeah, the only issue, the only restraint with the limited time we have is finding data. That's the only, that's the main restraint.
Yeah, that's right.
Data in a short period of time. That's
Yeah,
what,
that's right. I think I will put a Caribbean region because I think I will have a data
oh, good, okay,
most data
Okay.
more data.
okay. Good, good. So we can talk about that more. So that's just something I want everyone to think about. If we're gonna finish a paper in 3 months, it has to be feasible, all right? That'll be part of the evaluation, it has to be feasible. Will you be able to acquire the data in a certain amount of time, and will you be able to analyze it adequately in that limited time? And it's a lot to think about. You have to make sure your project is feasible, and you might not do the project you really want to do in this course, but you might do a piece of the project that you're interested in, okay? And we'll help to frame that, to isolate that from the larger questions that you have. All right. Okay, Francette, go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Professor. My name is Francette Calixte, and can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, and I'm from Haiti, and I need to do my PhD because I need to be a female, I can say that, teacher, because in my country, most of teachers are men.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. I need to show women in my country so we can do that. I can say that, I don't know.
Yes.
If you want, or if we want, we can do that. Yes.
Excellent. I never realized that I'm very unique then,
Yeah, exactly.
coming there.
Unique.
teaching.
Unique. Yeah.
Unique.
Mhm.
Well, you're going to be unique with me.
Yeah. The second one.
Yeah. No, I'm very excited to help launch your careers. We're going to help launch your careers, and you'll be teaching over there in the program. So they are part of a program, the first and only MBA program in IT, in business, in
Yeah.
business
Yeah.
administration.
Mhm.
And they're students, but the goal is to prepare them to be professors. And they'll do a better job than I could ever do because of the language and because of the insight that they have. Okay, so I thank you, Francette, and I think I have an idea of the kind of research you want to do. But can you tell us a little bit about it? Like, what would you like to research in this class? Possibly. You don't have to stick to it, just possibly. And if you don't know, it's okay too. Finance, business, marketing, management.
No, I have a degree in now that I need to do my research, and I don't know, international business and now a mix.
Okay.
Mhm.
But you want to focus on the Caribbean?
Yes, yes, Caribbean. Mhm.
Very good. Okay. Thank you, Francette.
You're welcome, teacher.
So happy that you're here. All right, and we have left Ariadna. Go ahead.
Hi,
Hello.
my name is Ariadna. I'm sorry, I'm looking at the other screen because I just have you guys on my other monitor. My name is Ariadna. I'm an MBA student that I obviously really do have some interest in researching some particularities in the potable water systems in Puerto Rico. But my degree is mostly going towards finance. My bachelor's is on operations management and project management. I graduated last year. Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I graduated last year of my bachelor's and I went straight away to my master's degree. This is my second year. And I'm looking forward to doing something related to the potable water system or possibly maybe finance or incorporating both things in the same research so that I can have an impact on my community and go towards and work towards my professional goals. So I'm not a PhD student. I will be at some point.
But education is a piece of this too. You might not, you might not become a professor, or maybe you do have interest, but the whole potable water interest is educational, right?
Yes.
But teaching in communities as opposed to teaching students in a school or anything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can inform them more about your project. She's been working with me on a project for several months now, and I invited her to take this course to get credit for her hard work on the research topic, and also develop the ideas into an academic paper so she can reach the academic community as well as the community work that she's doing, reaching people, households, everyday people, and also industry. So this is to tie it together. So that's why she's here.
And I have done academic research in my bachelor's degree, but it was never published. It was mostly focused towards on the human resource area of business. And how do you call them? Tecnólogos médicos. Where
medical technologists?
Yeah. How they were impacted after the burnout of the pandemic.
Very interesting. How did you get that input?
It was through surveys, and we visited laboratories and asked to speak to medical technologists. And we also spoke to the community, the Association of Medical Technologists of Puerto Rico. We got a lot of input from there. We got over 100 samples.
Oh, excellent. And you analyzed it?
Yes.
In one semester?
Yes.
Wow.
I don't know if I'm putting myself out there too much.
But it was you with the group, or was you with the professor?
Yes, it was me with a group.
Okay. So how many were you in the group?
We were 4.
Okay. Well, at least you guys were organized. That's great. I maybe you did tell me, but I forgot, but that's a great project. And what did you find?
That definitely there was so much understating the work of the medical technologists and how they felt so underappreciated in regards to a lot of medical technologists were actually quitting because they felt too exposed to the pandemic and through their samples.
Right, because the medical technologists were doing the tests, right? The PCR test.
Yes.
And all the testing. Yeah. Okay.
And there was a huge ocean of there was a huge wave of quits that we got to find out, and we put it in our paper. And a lot of there was one time where I just was reading things that they were writing on the comment section, and I was just bawling into tears because I couldn't even believe what they were going through.
Yeah.
It was a very harsh time.
How many surveys did you have?
What do you mean?
How many were completed?
Over 100.
Well, that's really good. So why didn't you guys publish it?
We analyzed it, but the data, the way we collected it was not in favor to be quantitative. Like it couldn't be quantified.
Mhm.
We did more qualitative research.
Right.
Our ANOVA test failed. Everything, like the regressions failed. We tried to quantify. We wanted to like make everything quantitative.
Uh-huh.
We couldn't.
And
He
the professor looked at the data too?
looked at the data and he was like, if you actually organized these questions better, this could have been something worth publishing.
Mhm. Yeah, it sounds like it. It sounds like that. Well,
We
good.
we learned a lot and it was really fun. So I do have fun with academic. I did have my fun with academic research. So
Good.
I guess I want to publish that here in this class.
Okay, no, that's great. That's great. I'm glad. I'm glad to know that too. Maybe you mentioned it and I just forgot, but that's great. And that's the idea, right? That we're going to just go through the process and we're going to learn a lot. And we can always improve a research project. It doesn't have to be perfect by the end of the course, but we should have at least tackled all elements of research by the end of the course. Okay, thanks, Ariadna. And I'm going to ask Richard to introduce himself.
¿Puedo hablar en español?
Sí, pueden
Ah.
hablar como quieren.
Muchas gracias. Lo he podido seguirlo, es que muchas gracias.
Perfecto.
Mi nombre es Richard Meléndez, hice mi bachillerato y mi maestría en economía. No he hecho publicaciones, pero sí tuve que hacer una tesis para la maestría.
¿Tú hiciste tu maestría en dónde? ¿En cuál?
Disculpe, en la UPR, en Río Piedras,
Okay,
en Ciencias Sociales.
right, excellent. Is there a topic that interests you, a particular research area that interests you?
El área bueno, puede ser general, pero me llamaba mucho la atención desarrollo económico, desarrollo económico en la economía.
Desarrollo
pero-
económico, okay. Development.
O relacionado con el dinero, eso sí me llama mucho la atención también. Dinero, la banca.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Gracias.
Okay, yeah, so and in the end, you would like to be a professor?
Sí, me
Meta.
gustaría.
Uh-huh.
Me
Are you-
gustaría ser profesor.
Are you
Bueno,
teaching right now, Richard? Are you teaching? Enseñando.
He dado cursos básicos
Está
y
bien.
he sido asistente de cátedra también. Eso sí.
Okay, excelente. And so you'd like to be a professor teaching and doing research in
Eh,
business or in economics?
en economía.
En economía, okay. Pero no hay doctorado en economía.
No hay doctorado.
Ah,
Aquí en Puerto Rico no.
pero con el doctorado, tú puedes ser profesor de economía.
Sí,
¿Es correcto?
pero sí. Puede ser en economía, en negocio, son muy similares. Digo, por lo general.
Well, I'm an economist, so I guess I'm proof that you can teach business with economics, but and with a PhD in business, the PhD in business will require you to learn the fundamentals of economics. Richard is ahead of everybody already because he already learned economics and he took econometrics, right? And so he'll just have to learn the applications in the field of business. And the rest of you will have that ahead of him. So at the end, you all should be in the same place. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But right now, this course, I appreciate you giving me some background. It gives me an idea on how to assist you in finding research topics. I think I'm very helpful at this part of the course where we identify research areas and get you started with what we call the literature review. All right. So what I'm going to do is share with you just a few things, and then next week, we're going to spend another hour together. I have a whole set of notes that I did not put into PowerPoint. They're just notes. And I use them every semester as a summary of everything I want to say. But let's start. Okay, let's start here. Yeah, I'm going to share this document with everybody. This is the document that each of you will use to both prepare your proposal for research and to critique your partner in research. Okay, so this is called criteria for critique, the critique of a research proposal, quantitative or qualitative research. Do you know what I mean by quantitative or qualitative? Because can anybody describe or explain the difference?
I guess I'll do it.
Okay, go ahead.
So qualitative research, from my perspective, is very, it's not numerical. It's very, data is collected as characteristics, words, and phrases. As for quantitative is more numeral.
Right.
Yeah.
Very good. So quantitative data would be collected as or recoded in like an Excel spreadsheet as numerical data. And qualitative could be open responses to open-ended questions that need to be first interpreted and then sorted into some sort of to look for patterns. Okay, so that can be done. There's software, just like there is software for quantitative data analysis, there is software for qualitative data analysis, right? And that is a huge that facilitates analysis once you've collected the data. But even before you collect the data, you have to think very carefully about what you might get. I am going to leave you with, and some of you may have seen this already, but I have put a set of videos onto YouTube. They are old videos in the sense that they're produced in the early 90s. Now, the students who took statistics with me would have seen these already, but I'm going to ask the rest of the students. I mean, I'm going to ask all of you to watch 4 of the videos. I'm going to send them to you by email. I'm just making a note that I got to do this. I'm going to send you the links by email. I'm going to ask you to watch them this week, in addition to preparing for the next class, using the topics of theme number 1 in the syllabus, the nature and process of business research. Let me put that up again. Right, so for next week, try and prepare chapter 1 and chapter 4. Now, most of you will not have purchased this book yet, right? Okay. What I'm going to do, I'm going to copy these. This is all I'm going to copy of the books, though. Chapters 1 and 4 of Bell and chapter 1 of Angrist. I will copy these and I'll share these PDFs with you so that you can get started. All right. But I do recommend you buy the books. I can do that legally. I can't give you the whole
Thank you.
parts. Yeah. Just to get started so we can get going. And I'm also going to ask you to watch those 4 videos. They're only 15 minutes long. It's 1 hour of your time to review the concepts in research design. The difference between experiments and surveys design. All right, I'm going to go back to what I was doing. All right, I was showing you this. Okay, so you're going to pick, now there's other kinds of research that you might do in the future. You might do a case study, but that's not what we're going to focus on here. You're going to have to choose between a quantitative or qualitative study, or I will permit students who are still exploring topics to do what's called a literature review. You can write a paper that is just a literature review. Okay, so those are the 3 options: quantitative, qualitative research, or a literature review. So I'm going to send you the documents so you can look at them in advance. And these are essentially what the expectations are for your papers. So quantitative, qualitative, and literature review. I'm going to pull that up too so I can show you. Having trouble with the, okay. So this is the, okay, so this, can you see this? What do you see? Do you see it says, oh, that's it, okay. I'll stop and do this again. Let's do this again. So I will send you these documents. All right, so this is the one called literature review. Okay, so there's those 3 options: quantitative, qualitative, or the literature review. And these are the criteria that you will be graded on. So I'm going to send these to you so you can have a look before we discuss them and any questions you might have about them. But essentially, I'm going to get you through, we're going to go through each of the steps and what I expect. Okay, so I will send those. And what you'll have to do is use them to make sure that your proposal, I also have documents for the final paper. It's a little bit different. So you're going to have to ensure that your proposal has all these elements in it to be sure you'll get full points for your presentation. Use this as your guide. Okay, so this will be your guide. We begin with the problem, that the problem is clearly and concisely stated, that you've written up the subproblems or guiding questions, because it's not, when you start thinking about a research question, there's a number of other questions that you have to answer before you can answer the ultimate question. That it's a narrowed down research problem that is feasible within the time limit, that it's a significant research problem that warrants formal research effort, and that you've positioned the research in the body of literature that currently exists. Okay, so in academic research, you have to identify what it is and where you would place your research in the greater body of literature. And that's why you have to do a literature review anyways. Now, so these papers, quantitative and qualitative, will have a literature review piece. You'll see that that's part of step 2. But if your whole paper if there isn't precisely literature on your topic, and you need to bring literature from different disciplines together, you could argue that you're going to do a paper just as a literature review itself, that there's enough questions that that warrant a literature review exclusively as your paper. So some students choose that option. There was a student last year that did a paper on how to build a graduate level course, or what are the elements required in a graduate level course in cryptocurrency. And his paper was all literature review. It wasn't done as well as I would have liked, but it was a good effort to get started on the topic. I hope to be able to influence you early on, that you could have a really polished piece of work by the end of the semester. All right, so I will share those with you. And let's see. All right. I'm just pulling up the lecture notes. Okay, so I'm going to share this document with you as well. And it is, it's a big document, but it touches all the topics I want to cover. So what is research? Research is a systematic process. So the keyword here is systematic, okay? That we're going to do this we conduct research in a systematic way. There's certain things that you do to be able to call it research, okay? And that's what you're going to learn about, the systematic process of collecting, analyzing, and interpreting information in order to increase our understanding of a phenomenon about which we're interested or concerned. Research is the process by which theories are developed. What is a theory? Who's going to tell me what is a theory?
You want us to read it?
Well, I want you just to tell me. You don't have to read it. You just
Okay.
you think a theory is.
It's something that it might be, but we're not sure of it, so we want to prove it. And I think that's what it is.
Okay. Anybody else? Thank you. Maria?
You're welcome.
Nobody else? Theory. Now, in the vernacular, using the word theory, what's another similar word? So we'll distinguish between terms. What's a similar word people like to use?
Hypothesis. Hypothesis.
Hypothesis, that's right. So I'm trying to get your image up and I can't get the picture. I think I cannot share and see you at the same time. I have to do something here. All right, there, I got it. Okay, so yes, a hypothesis. So what's the difference between a hypothesis and a theory?
I think that an hypothesis is a proposition who you can infirm or confirm.
Okay, so hypothesis is where you begin research, right? You state a hypothesis and you can devise a method of testing your hypothesis. So it's a guess. It's a guess at what might be the case. And the scientific method requires us in a systematic way to identify what is the case. So if we have a hypothesis that, let's talk about politics for a moment. The hypothesis is that the Republicans are growing tired of Trump. Okay, so the Republicans are growing tired of Trump. How will we assess this hypothesis? First, we take all our effort to identify what is the current state of things. And we make a statement. When you make a statement to begin your investigation, you make a statement of what is, and then the scientific method teaches how to collect data and then how to analyze that data. And what you're going to do is if without prior information, you're going to say, well, this is the state of things as we know it. And we're going to look for, so that you're going to make a statement of your hypothesis, and then you're going to try and find whether the evidence that you've collected, the data you've collected, provides evidence against your hypothesis. It's the practice of falsifying. Okay, that's how the scientific method is developed. Right now, I've given you an example of a quantitative hypothesis, and I've suggested a way to go about conducting the test of your hypothesis, and then the evidence will determine whether you have found something to refute, something to falsify your hypothesis, and then you can report that you found something new and something worthy of recognition, and you will publish it and share it. So that's the hypothesis. But what's a theory then? So in science, in managerial sciences, in science, social science, in science, natural science, a theory is a belief that has become well established, well supported, well documented, an explanation after repeated observation. Okay, so it's been reinforced by collecting data, which is called empirical, to support it. Okay. So hypothesis is just a stepping stone to developing a theory.
Oh, excuse me, Professor. So the hypothesis so that the theory can become true, or a theory,
Yeah.
first has to become the hypothesis.
You have several hypotheses, yeah, that you'd have to first get there by virtue of testing using hypothesis to get there. Yes. So I hope that is making sense.
So I'm sorry for asking again.
Go ahead.
Using the example that Ariana gave us about her research, the survey that the group did about the burnout with the medical, that's first is the hypothesis,
So
the data that they collected.
yeah, so she would have had to make a hypothesis to analyze the data, and she'd have to base it in the literature. So she would have had to, her group would have had to do a literature review to look at any other kind of research on the topic. Now, obviously, the pandemic was a special case, right? So it's something new, the pandemic and what happened and their position in the pandemic. But what they would have had to do before they even develop their questionnaires is look at what everybody did before them, to look at similar burnout in a crisis, a natural disaster setting, and what kind of surveys were done before and what did they find. And from there, they could state their hypothesis, saying, based on previous research, we find that we believe that there's burnout as a result of the expectations on the job, right? Or, the expectations being too great on the job. However, she stated it. So that would be the hypothesis. And then they will have collected their data and then try and prove or disprove that statement. So, yeah, am I answering your question? So the hypothesis statement will come from the status quo, what is believed to be true given the current research. Now, there might be a case where there is no research. You might be looking at something nobody's done before. And it's a different kind of a challenge. And you'd have to develop your own body of investigation before doing any kind of quantitative or qualitative type study. And that's actually called, when there's no previous research on a topic, you have to do something called grounded research. You have to develop the data or develop the topic on your own. So there's like a preliminary step. But provided there's literature, you'll be able to use previous literature to make a hypothesis and go from there. So when Ariadna wanted to speak. Sorry, I didn't see your hand till now. Go ahead. Explain. You're going to answer Jan.
Yeah, no, definitely. We actually had to do some ground research for ours because there was a lot of data, similar data, but for nurses and for doctors regarding the burnout and the pandemic, but nothing on tecnólogos médicos.
Yeah. So you borrowed from what you knew about doctors and nurses and went from there, right? But obviously it's a different case because they're not as protected as doctors and nurses.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. I did a project with a student when I first started at the UPR, and she was working on a project looking at improvisation in emergency rooms and hospitals. And improvisation is, because of the lack of resources at the time, hospitals were struggling and inventing protocol because they didn't have, there was not a written protocol for situations when the power went out and respirators had to be rationed between patients, like just horrible circumstances that she was coming across. So she was basically doing grounded research because nobody had written about this sort of scenario and the idea of improvising without protocol. How is it done? And she learned that the doctors had a lot more leeway and ability to improvise, but nurses didn't feel protected. They didn't feel that they had the authority to invent workarounds or methods to resolve issues because they didn't have the insurance like a doctor did, or coverage, medical malpractice insurance like a doctor did. So yeah, and so technologists, I imagine they even feel less powerful. So she did a bunch of grounded research to collect that data through interviews, and that's why you have the qualitative data as a result.
Basically, yeah, because most of the semester was focused on that groundwork, on that ground research. And when it was time to work on the survey, we just kind of bolted. We bolted to it.
Yeah.
And we forgot that the whole purpose of the class, the research class, was actually on quantitative research.
Mm.
But since it was so good and it had potential, like the professor let us through at that time.
Well, Adi, if you want, you can work on that paper. I would be willing to help you. But you'd have to collect all that data and get permission from everybody that we analyze. We analyze the data you collected. But anyway, I'm just leaving that open for you. All right, so I hope that helps people understand the difference between hypothesis, theory. Now, what about laws? How does that fit in? There are certain physical, natural laws, phenomena that we recognize, the law of gravity, but the theory of gravity explains why there is gravity and how it works. Okay, so this is how we use the terminology in science, separating these things apart. So a theory presents a concept or idea that is testable. A theory is based upon a hypothesis, but is backed by evidence. A theory is an organized body of concepts and principles intended to explain a particular phenomenon. I just got this out of the dictionary. Like hypotheses, theories are tentative explanations that new data either support or do not support. To the extent that new data contradict a particular theory, a researcher will either modify it to better account for the data or reject the theory altogether in favor of an alternative explanation. In any discipline, a theory is not merely a guess. A theory is a fact-based framework for describing a phenomenon. Okay, so I'm making this explicitly clear because people use these words in English and in Spanish in different ways, but it's very explicit and very clear in science and research how we use the word theory as the result of hypothesizing and testing. Okay. So we talked a bit about qualitative and quantitative methods. What I'm going to do is leave you guys to read through this and we can talk about it some more next week. What I like to do at this point, because I don't want to lose your attention, is talk about how to gather literature. All right. So I want to show you what I do to gather information about a topic, a hypothesis, something you want to explore. So let's take Adi's topic because it seems to interest us and it is related to business and current events. And I'm going to show you how exactly, well, I haven't previously done this, so it might not be seamless. But what I'm going to do is show you how I go about doing my literature search. And I'm going to ask you for next class, in addition to everything I'm asking you to do, I want you to just do a preliminary search for research topics. All right. And I want you to bring them to next class so we can talk about them. So let me share with you my screen as I do my search. So I begin in Google Scholar. Now, Google Scholar can be in any language. And the more languages you have, like our Haitian peers here, they have English, Spanish, and French that they can search through, which is always an advantage because they can find more literature. So in Google Scholar, I just start with some basic searches. Now, all of you have searched in Google before. right? In Google Scholar and any kind of search bar, you want to put the most important terms first. And you might not realize what are the important or keywords at the beginning. But Adi, what kind of keywords did you use, do you remember using when you did some searching for your project?
I'm actually looking at the paper right now. Hold on.
Okay.
So we actually went towards, we were looking for obviously medical technologists. We were looking for motivation. We were looking for burnout. We opted for efficiency as well,
Okay.
and COVID-19.
Okay. Okay. Burnout, medical, staff, or medical burnout. I think that's good enough. And then you could focus on COVID. So I'm going to just start with this, but I'll show you how I can develop it further. Okay, now we have, so I have burnout syndrome in Romanian medical residents in time of COVID-19 pandemic, burnout in the age of COVID-19, burnout in medical staffs during coronavirus. Okay, so how many of you have used Google Scholar before? No one. Okay, except for Adi. I saw you. Okay, so this is, so I just used 3 terms and I got 109,000 results. I can improve upon this, but let's just start with this. What it does is it ranks the most important by algorithm. It determined this is important. And why do you think it put it first? Does anybody have an idea? Why did it put it first? Well, the title has all the keywords. Okay. The citations were 345. Do you know what a citation is? Can everybody see? Let me make it bigger.
Yes, we see.
So what is a citation?
Yes, okay.
How many times has been uploaded or maybe written in some other
Referenced in
article?
another
Said-
article?
Yeah.
Exactly. Reference in another thing. And how many times other people have referenced this paper. So that's 345 times in, I guess, 3 years, because this was 2020. So, okay, so let me tell you. So that's why I think that came first. Like this one only has 2 of the words in it and 40 citations. So they say it second. And this one has a variation of the words in it, but they rank it because it's lower with 44 and the words are not exactly the same. So it uses an algorithm to rank to match what you're saying. Now, as you get this list, you start to see other ways that this topic can be written about in the title or in the abstract. So here's the abstract. So if I open this, let's open the first one. I get to see the paper, not the whole paper probably. Sometimes it'll all be available. Okay, this is all available. This is available. This is open to the public, okay? You get the abstract. Abstracts are often under 200 words. And most people, when they read a paper, an academic paper, will read mostly the abstract, most of it. They'll read the title and the abstract. Now, obviously, there's probably another 30 pages to go. So this is hardly the whole paper, but most people will base the continuing with this article on abstract and title. So that just tells you how important it is to get the right title so people read your work. And to get the abstract interesting enough that people read your work. Because people reading your work will result in researchers citing your work. And as an academic, your impact is measured by your relevance and your citations. Okay. So this paper is open to the public. It looks like you can view it and download it, but many articles are not available to anyone. If Adi was interested. Oh, Angel, you have a question or comment?
Yes, how do they measure the number of citations? How do they keep track of that?
They do, and I'll show you mine. I have my account
Okay.
here, and you can see that. So if I go to Google Scholar again, just not to lose that page, and I put my name here. I mean, I don't know that everybody is registered, but I registered myself, and you should register yourself on Google Scholar, and as you begin publishing, you will come up. So I have 935 citations in total. It's not high, but it's good. It's okay. So you can see my my publications here. I sorted by year, and then they have this list here, and they basically count. Now, if somebody cites your paper and it's not picked up because now everything is, the data is all shared, a citation is usually, a citation to my work will be noted by the system. And
Okay.
so it tallies on its own. But if I find that someone cited my work and it's not listed, I can add it here and they'll confirm it and they'll add it up for me. Okay, so through Google Scholar, you can do that, but there's so many different platforms. There are ADMI, people use that. And then there's ResearchGate, a lot of people are in that, and there's other ones as well. But it seems like there has been a convergence onto Google Scholar, and people are here and creating profiles here. So that's how that works. So I recommend you start an account, even though maybe you don't have a paper, maybe you do, just start an account, and it'll build. There's somebody else with the same name. You want to be clear. So you have to think about how you want yourself represented. I did not get married until I was 45. So I kept my maiden name. And that's because like most of my papers are all with my maiden name. And that's how I get found, and the citations accumulate, right? So it's a thought, you have to take a thoughtful process on what you're going to do with your name. You can change your name. I mean, I'm not saying don't change your name, but you just have to see through it that it's all been linked under your profile. All right, so back to burnout. So burnout, let's say Adi wanted to spin this paper into more of like a business paper, burnout medical, and she puts cost on the end. Let's see, let's turn it into a business or an economics paper, right? Because these are all medical journals. Cost of burnout, economic cost of burnout. It's still in a medical type journal. Primary Care International Journal of, let's see, less citations, if that's okay. So what you'll see is, I'm going to go back to the previous one. There are a lot of citations in medicine. Okay, there's a lot more citations in medicine than there are in economics. It doesn't mean that economics is, well, it's important, but there's less of an audience, let's say it that way, than there are for medical papers. Now, my research is in health economics, so in that way, I'm interdisciplinary, and I'm able to get some of my work published in medical journals and other research I've done in business journals. So I'm very interdisciplinary that way, and I've been able to take advantage of the high visibility of medical research. So having said that, let me go into something and tell you, how do you know if this is this journal, Burnout Syndrome in Romanian Medical Residents in Time of COVID-19 Pandemic? How do you know that this is a good quality journal? 345 people have cited this article. To get the citation, it's really nice. Now, this is relatively new. This has been around just for a few years. When I was growing up and I was learning the ropes of academic research, we used reference managers to take care of our citations. But if I click here, it gives me the citation. If I wanted to cite this paper in my paper, I can just copy APA. We use APA. This is American Psychological Association. style of citation. You can just grab it and paste it into your paper or into a page, onto a page where you keep all your references. Right? Did anybody know that before? Because this is a headache. This used to be a headache. It's not a headache anymore. Right?
It is a headache. It
But
is.
did I help you, Maria?
Yes, I like that too because I didn't do that before and I tried to do it on the same page and it was like so difficult because sometimes I add some new ones and they weren't like arranged by the alphabetical order and it was pretty hard. So thanks for that tip.
Yes. And in terms of APA, I'm going to recommend this site, Purdue OWL. If you go to Purdue OWL, let me share the page with you. Purdue OWL has a guide on how to do a lot of referencing. Hold on. So Purdue OWL, if you just type Purdue OWL, and it looks a little different. So the APA guide is here. And it helps with all these things you always wanted to know. How do you cite an article in the text? How do you cite authors in text citation? How you make a reference list? How you reference books, articles, other print sources, electronic sources, videos, other non-print sources. So this is pretty foolproof. There's lots of information here. So if you just remember owl.purdue.edu or just Purdue OWL, it links to Purdue University. And it's a good site.
It's good. I think it's the first time I see it.
Yes, it's very helpful. And most things I look for are there. Okay, I'll go back to my Google search. Okay, let's here. You see burnout syndrome again? It's burnout syndrome?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So let's say we wanted to make, like I said, we're going to make this more about economics. Let's put cost in there. Let's put the word economic, just because I want more business papers or economic papers. And these are all public health. Okay, here's one. So here I have, so why am I doing this? So let's say Adi wanted to spin this into something to do with business, international business, or her business consulting about burnout. So risk of burnout in French entrepreneurs during the COVID-19 crisis. Okay, so it's not about medical technologists, but now let's look at entrepreneurs. How were they affected? How was burnout in their case? So let's look at this paper. Has 82 citations, and let's see. So this was published in Small Business Economics, and it looks interesting. It's recent. Now, looking at this, how do I determine if this is a good paper? Okay, I'll read it. I'll read it. Time is always of the essence, right? Time is limited. Everyone has limited time. So you'd read the title, you read the abstract, you might go back to the search and see who cited this. So there were 82 citations. Let's click the citations and we're going to do a forward search to see who in the last year, so it's 82 citations in 1 year, because this was published in 2022. So if I click here, I get to see what papers cited. So small business journals have cited the same journal. theory and practice. So I could go through these 82 and see what people had to say about this article and what future research was done, like beyond that paper. So now I have 82 more, and I can search from the 82 just for business journals. So I can put that in here. Let's say I just want business, I'm not spelling it right, business journals. Well, they're all business journals because 77 of them out of 82 remained. Okay, so mostly business journals. Economic effect of COVID-19 pandemic on entrepreneurs and small businesses. So this is more general than the other one. So you see, you have managed to get a whole wealth of information about businesses affected with burnout. The word burnout, though, was just used in this one. So let's say I just stick with this one for a moment, going back to this. And I think, okay, this looks like it's a popular topic. 82 other journals cited this article in 1 year. That's a lot. So what about small business economics? Is this a good journal? How will I find out? Does anybody know? Okay, a related question is, what makes a journal a good journal? What is good in terms of academics? I already gave you a hint. Citations. So if it gets a lot of citations, that means it's popular. That means that translates into a high quality journal. All right. Or considered a higher quality journal. Now, so Angel, back to the question, or who asked me, who keeps track of all this, right? There are interests that keep track of all this. So small business economics, honestly, I've never heard of that journal, but it looks like this article got a lot of views. So what I'm going to teach you about for business, there are several lists that evaluate journal quality, and they do all the hard work for you of evaluating or enumerating using citations the quality of these journals, and they keep track, they update their list. So journal quality list ABDC. Okay, so this here, now most of the stuff that I'm showing you is in the notes package I'm going to send you tonight. Okay, so it's all there, but it's over 40 pages. So I'm just going to show you now. You can write this down, ABDC, which stands for Australian Business Deans. I can't remember what C stands for. Australian Business Deans something journal quality list. So I'm going to click here. Oh, Council. Okay. Australian Business Deans Council. And for all their hard work that they've done over the years, they are considered a reliable source for evaluating journals. What was the name of the journal again? Small business economics. So I go here and I write small business and see if it comes up. I'm just going to hit return. Oh, look at that. Small Business Economics publisher Springer International Publishing. Let me make it bigger. Field of Research 3507. Field of Research, you can see here, 3507 is strategy, management, and organizational behavior. So it's actually, you see, these are all the areas that are considered areas of research in business. Economics gets many different fields, but okay. And this is its ISSN number, and this is its online ISSN number. And look at that. What is the rating?
Is that the highest?
Okay, that's a good question. Is that the highest? What is the highest? You think there's a higher? So let me show you.
A plus, AA, I don't know, like the bonds that they have different.
That's the right question. It seems high, so A is great. but there is a higher, in business, there is a higher measure. Now, business intersects with economics, and economics uses a different rating scale. They use impact factor, like medicine uses impact factor, okay? But in business, you guys are going to try and do it, working towards a business degree and a business paper. We're going to learn about this rating system, right? So you can actually download the entire list of journals by clicking here, and it's going to be an Excel file. And wow, it has all the, I don't want all of that. I just want the current one. Yeah, this is a huge file with the list of journals from all these previous editions of the quality list. But I'll just show you, let's do the 2022 version. So this is the 2022 version. Sorry, I got to go all the way down. Maybe this is not it. This is not what I want. No, this is just a publication that explains how they did it, how they ranked the journals. Oops, I lost it. I'm going to show you let me stop this. I'm going to show you the last list that I downloaded. And then I'll figure out where I got it from, or where you can get it from if you're interested. So this is important in terms of because you have limited time, you want to be sure that you're spending time reading high quality journals, right? Articles. But that doesn't mean that you're only going to read high quality papers. All right. It's just to distinguish between the ones that are in journals that are popular from others. That's all the reason I'm showing you this. So I want to share my list with you, and then I'll show you where I got it from. So this is the list here. Can you see?
Yes.
So you see, it's in alphabetical order. And the field of research is really important. Like, I want to sort it. I want to sort this spreadsheet. If I'm interested in management, I want to just look for the code for management. If I'm in economics, I want to look for the code for economics. Now you see, as Angel pointed out, A star is higher. Okay, so A star is the highest ranking, but A is good, is high as well. Now, where did I get this before we continue with this list? Is ABDC. So that's the report. Those are the files. But I don't want all of them. I just wanted 2019. I think this is the report for the new upcoming file. If you use this filter, you can go one by one, but it is better to have the entire spreadsheet. Are you still looking at the spreadsheet? Sorry, let me share this screen. Okay, I'm back here. So I got the file from pressing this, I believe. It's just that it's going to give me all the years, which is kind of new. Okay, I'll show you what I got. I just downloaded that link. And this is what it gave me. So it gives me, if you see the tabs, you get in one sheet the 2022 rankings, in 2019 rankings, 2016, all in different tabs. It's just a big file. And these are the rankings according to the Australian Business Deans Council. There are other rankings, but this is just one of them. And this is a respected one. And this is the one that Rio Piedras campus uses. And we use it to help evaluate the quality of research of professors. Professors' quality has to be, well, it depends. If you are teaching in the undergraduate program, you can publish in any of these articles, in any of these journals and other ones. But if you're in the PhD, if you're teaching at the PhD level, you have to be publishing in the A and A-star journals. They have a standard, and this is the standard. Now, every university that's accredited, this is due to the accreditation of the international accreditor AACSB. There are other accreditors, and the standards that are established established by the university itself. So it's the professors that came up with their decision to keep this standard, and professors are evaluated by this standard. So I'm teaching you this now just to familiarize you with quality. You know, it's one thing to write a paper. How good is it? Well, you want it to fall into a journal, the appropriate journal. If you worked really hard on it, sure, you want to be in a B, A, or A-star journal in business. But if you just want to get it published because you need to get a publication to keep your job, which is the case for some professors, because depending, to be qualified to teach at certain levels, you have to have publications within recent years. So you could maybe just publish in a C journal. Being a C journal, it might not be as rigorous to get it published. Waiting to publish in an A-star journal might take longer. It may take months to refine and edit. And that's not necessarily always the case either, right? So I'm just showing you this so you understand what happens. The ranking of journals for you to publish, but also for your reading, okay? So if you're trying to see is a topic popular, is a topic worth spending time on, this will help guide you to show you this, you know, that it's getting published, and it's getting published. Your topic is getting published in high quality journals. Clearly the burnout thing during COVID was, well, at least for that paper, it was popular. Any questions so far? Comments? Is this useful? Okay, so you can download this. You can start looking at it. I would sort it by field of research for, and then you learn about the different research fields by looking back over here, the numbering. Is here. So this helps you also narrow down where you want to focus. You want to focus on accounting topic, finance, business systems, marketing, tourism, and logistics. It's interesting they're all together, but they put them together. Human resource and industrial relations. Actually, let's see, where was that journal? It was called Small Business Economics, right?
It was under strategy and organizational behavior.
All right, that's right. Thank you. And it was under 3507, strategy, management, and organizational behavior, right? There's two here for, oh, there's three different ones for marketing, tourism, logistics. You'd have to look more into see, what they are. And the way you can do that is going to the list and looking at the different journals, and then going through the journal itself. So let's say we wanted to study, let's say we were interested in a particular journal, Small Business Economics. Let's stay with that. And let's say we wanted to see all articles published in that journal on a certain topic, just to see if the journal is saturated with articles, and we want to make sure we have a unique take on on a research project. So let's see if you guys can tell me, how do I, oh, not that one. That's not what I wanted. I want to put you here. Okay, so how do I, or do you know how to use Google Scholar to just look in a particular journal? How will you do that? So I want to look at burnout in just small business, the Small Business Economics Journal, Small Business Economics. Do you know how to do that?
Nope, I don't know.
I appreciate you telling me. Anybody? It's not just you. Okay, so there is a few ways you can do this, but the easiest is to go to, okay, they changed it a bit here. So I want to go to the search. Wait. I want to go to, I don't know what happened here. Okay, let's go back. So what did I write originally? Risk of burnout. I wrote, so burnout, medical, COVID, cost, economic. Right now, I said, I want to just see this, if this topic, how much this topic has been covered in the Small Business Economic Journal. So I will click on, where is it? See here. Advanced search. Okay, so under the 3 bars, go to advanced search. Can you see this? Did it open?
Yes.
Yeah.
So advanced search has the keywords there, but I want to go to a particular journal. So I can say published in Small Business Economics, and that's where I do it. Now, this is a dialog box, but you can also do this by yourself. There's ways to code that, to write that into the search bar itself, but they offer you this box, dialog box, and it makes it easy for you. So, and I want it any year. I'm not going to specify or break down the year. I will also put quotations around it. Does anybody know why I put quotations around it?
So it looks for that specific one.
Exactly. So it looks for Small Business Economics, exactly like that. Not for a journal called Economics and Business in Small Cities or something. No. So it looks exactly for that order of terms. Okay, let's see. Okay, so these are all 10 articles that were published with these same keywords in Small Business Economics Journal. You see how it added the word source? So if you didn't have the dialog box, you would have had to do it like that. It does the HTML or Boolean search terms for you. And so these are all the articles. So there's 10. So let's say you wanted to publish in this journal, back to Adi's topic. Just make sure that either you cite any of these articles that are related because they were in the journal, and journals like to be cited. Or if they're not relevant, don't cite them. But if they're relevant, you put them in there. And emotional demands and entrepreneurial burnout, the role of autonomy and job satisfaction, mental health. So the word health is not about health care system, but about mental health. So you would rule that one out. I mean, it is a mental health issue, but if you just want to talk about medical in the medical industry. So this would just show you all the articles out of that Small Business Economics Journal. All right. Any questions or comments? Let's change the topic. Somebody else tell me a topic they're interested in. You don't have to stick with it. Just give me a topic of interest.
women entrepreneurial development, something like that.
Okay, okay. All right, so let's do women entrepreneurs. Did I spell it right? Entrepreneur. Okay, let's see Caribbean. Or development. Yeah, let's use development. Let's use development. Okay, almost a million articles, right? You don't want to go through all those articles, but this shows you that's interesting. It puts this one first because it's women entrepreneurs and development. All three words are there, but they added an MENT on the end of, or no, sorry, not MENT. They added ship here, but basically it has all your three terms, and then it's cited by 42. This one also has all the terms with 129 citations, but this is not a published article. How do I know that? This is actually published in a journal in 2020, but this one is just a working paper. And I know that because SSRN is a database where you can post working papers so that other people can see them and then follow you, or colleagues can comment. You can show your working to your employer. And then when you can present your paper abroad and refer people to the developing paper and the SSRN, Social Science Research Network, SSRN. So that's why it's not first. Women entrepreneurship in Middle East. This is older, but it has a lot of citations. So again, back to the term seminal. This is like understanding barriers and use of ICT. It's old, but it's popular and it's still relevant. We can see who cited this: Women Entrepreneurship in Middle East, Understanding Barriers and Use of ICT for Entrepreneurship. What's ICT? Sorry, I'll go back. Anyway, that's not so important right now, but okay, so it was cited by 231. You could look forward to see what people said about it and what came of this article, this original research from 13 years ago. Development in Bangladesh, challenges and prospects. So these are all interesting. So these are using the exact terms here. If you want to expand, let's say, there's many ways to say entrepreneur. Entrepreneurial, entrepreneurship, entrepreneurs. So what you can do is put an asterisk here, and I don't know if that's going to improve or increase the number of search results, but let's see. Oh, went down. Did it go down? Entrepreneur. That's funny. So if you put an asterisk, it should expand, but it went down. Entrepreneur. Interesting. Women, development. What's another word for development?
Outstanding. Or...
So you see here, down here, there's some suggestions for other terms to catch more. Rural women, entrepreneur development, role of women entrepreneurs, entrepreneurship in developing economies, performance. So it's just showing, getting at rural women, that would be interesting. Developing countries. I think this is pretty broad, though. Even it's funny that putting the asterisks limited rather than expanded. So I'm going to leave it off. So there's actually, I can send you a link to, I think I put it in most of this stuff is in my notes already. Let me find it, hold on. So. Okay. So, what we're actually, by putting into the search bar, by entering into the search bar, so by entering the search bar, you can do that, or you can use at the 3 dots, the advanced search, that can help you as well. You can ask for exact phrases. You can put a whole list of words and it just picks one of them. You can say what you don't want. That happens when there's a term that's used 2 ways. And you want to just be exclusively, that it's not thinking it's one way over the other. You want to specify. I'm just trying to think of an example, and I don't have one, but so let's say you wanted to use healthcare, but you were not interested in mental health. If we go back to the burnout, or in this case, let's say women entrepreneur development without child. You don't want to do anything about child development. You're not interested in that. Because that could be misconstrued, or family, or maybe not. But so you want to put something there, at least one of these words. You want something about benefit, or
Leadership, I can say that.
Leadership, growth, something like that. And if you have any particular authors you're interested in, you would put it here. If you want to narrow down to a journal, or if you want a certain date. So this, you can use the advanced search to narrow. So I'm getting closer, and you see what it does here in the search bar. When you use the dialog box, it translates your request into a Boolean search. So it has the or with capitalized O and R, and it did this minus nothing about children. You want to take child development. You don't want anything on child development to show up. Okay, so these codes are all part of Boolean operators. So let me show you this. This is another page I want to link for you. So this, I just found this by Boolean operators Google, and you get this. You see, it shows you if you want 2 terms to show up, vegetarianism and obesity, you use the word and. If scholarly is just as good as the word academic, it could be either of those words, but it has to be one of them, just like we did leadership, or, for the women, leadership or growth or benefit. Okay. This minus will exclude any terms that you don't want to be there.
And let's say if I want to look for something either in Spanish or English, I may also.
So if you
find
the language, that's another thing, and we'll talk about that in a second. So thank you for the question. So these are all, this is how you would type it up in the long search bar. But using the advanced search dialog box, that's what it's going to do for you. Okay. This tilde here, if you can't think of all the words for academic, like here we wrote scholarly or academic, if we're interested in something on that topic, We just use a tilde academic, and then it uses all the terms that are synonyms for academic and searches for those. So let's do that with development. Let's see what we get. Let's go back here and let's put the tilde here. So all the terms that are synonymous with development, okay, we have 409,000 searches. You guys looking at my screen, making sure that you can see what I'm doing. Yeah, you can see this, right?
Yes.
So I just put a tilde in front of development to get synonyms. And what happens? No, didn't do anything. I guess development is doesn't need any synonyms. So that's interesting. Let's see benefit. Let's put tilde on benefit.
Put it after leadership or after benefits.
Yeah, let me try. I did
Right.
before. So I do it before or after? It's before, right?
Oh, before, okay.
Let's do it on leadership. I feel like it's not working.
Okay.
But let's see. Let's put it on. It's like, I don't think it's working. Let's go back to here. Anyway, it should work. It doesn't have synonyms here without the words. I really like that tilde, but it doesn't seem to be working. Or maybe it did capture all of them already. Let's get rid of some of these terms. Let's go back.
So it may be used to opposite to see if what it brings women entrepreneurs barriers.
Yeah, it didn't do anything. So what did you say, Maria?
That maybe if you use the opposite word, like women entrepreneur barriers, something like that.
Like a more obscure word, barriers. So 355. And then, you know what it might be is that by default, it's already doing synonyms. Like the algorithm may have improved that it's already using synonyms, that I don't even have to put that anymore. Like we're talking, this is advancing very far. Having said that, it's 8:24, but I want to ask any of you if any of you have used ChatGPT yet. Anyone use ChatGPT? Ariadna?
I haven't used it, but I heard about it, and I did some like tests using it. My son is likes to play music, and it brings a lot of information about some tips about music and some other topics.
If you guys can, by next week, I'm giving you so many homework exercises, try and look into it by yourself. It's very easy. Well, I go through OpenAI. You just type OpenAI, one word, OpenAI, and start an account. You can just use your Google account if you have a Google account. And it's just a search bar. ChatGPT is just a search bar, but you ask it questions and it gives you the answers. And you have to be careful because the answers are not always correct. However, it gives you an answer and something and you can talk to it. Like you can brainstorm your ideas with ChatGPT and it can feed you back information and help you, think through a problem. It can help you find the question you really want to ask. Okay. So, but just be careful because it's ChatGPT is, what are they called? It uses language models and it just invents things sometimes because it just grabs things from the internet and it invents answers. But that's okay because you're going to do the proper research later, but you can ask if you're interested in a topic, just see what it tells you. Just ask it questions and see what comes up and play with it a little bit. Spend like half an hour on it so we can talk about it a bit and what you put in there. So today I just wanted to introduce you to what we're going to do in this class. I wanted to show you how to start searching. I've shown you Google Scholar. I've invited you to go into OpenAI and start a ChatGPT account just to talk to it, to narrow down, topics of interest for yourself. All right. And I will send you the things I promised to send you. And you're just getting started, so I won't ask for too much more than that you just think about and research a topic that interests you. And what I can do next week is I can set up some meetings with us one-on-one so we can just brainstorm together and get you going, because you can't wait. I mean, the proposals in 6 weeks. And so you've got to have your topic in a week or two. You can modify your topic, but the next week is really crunch time to think about where your topic wants. And I get the sense that many of you, it looks like a good portion of you have an idea of what you want to do. It's a matter of phrasing a good research question. All right. So I'm going to send you an email with all of those things, and let me know if you have any questions for me. You learned something valuable today. This is just a start. There's a lot more, and like I said, this is always changing. Google Scholar is always improving. The language. You asked me about the language before we go. So changing the language settings. Language. Change the language and do the same things. Okay, so you can search in English, you can search in Spanish, you can search in French.
French.
All right. And that will give you a wealth of other papers to look through. In terms of the quality, I don't know about, well, I guess I know the Spanish Latin index. So we can talk about that next week, about quality for Spanish articles. I don't know about French articles. Maybe it's something I can look into. But they have different quality lists as well. All right. Are we good?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night, and I will be in touch.
Bye.
Don't forget to
Nice.
share the presentation with us.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye. Thank you, Professor.
Bye.
I said Taylor.
Bye.